Hi, today we're going over section 6.4, which is adding and subtracting rational expressions with binomial and trinomial denominators. So this is very similar to the last section of notes, except for instead of having one value in our denominator, we will have 2 or 3 terms in our denominator, which will mean we'll usually have to do some factoring. Now, like I mentioned, just like last section, we need a common denominator to be able to add or subtract rationals. So for example, if we have 3 over x plus 2 minus 5 over x plus 2, we can combine these because they have the same denominator. So that would give us negative 2 over x plus 2. Now with this, we would also have to state non-permissible still. So in this case, the value of x that makes our denominators equal 0 would be negative 2. So we would have x cannot equal negative 2. Now, if we can factor anything, we will, because it will usually make solving for questions easier. So first example, simplify and state any restrictions. And we have 2 over 3x plus 3 minus 5 over 2x plus 2. So my first step, I will factor what I can out of these denominators, and then I'll write out my non-permissibles. So with this first denominator, both terms are divisible by 3, so I'll factor that out. So that gives me 2 over 3 times x plus 1 minus 5 over, we can divide a 2 out of this one, so that's 2 times x plus 1. Now looking at these, we know that x cannot equal negative 1 or our denominator equals 0. Now both of our fractions have x plus 1 in our denominator, so that's fine. But one has a 3, one has a 2, so we need to get that to the common denominator of 6. So I'll multiply this one by 3 over 3 and this one by 2 over 2. So that gives me 4 over 6 times x plus 1 minus 5 times 3 is 15 over 6 times x plus 1. So 4 minus 15 gives us negative 11 over 6 times x plus 1. Next example, we have 3x over x plus 2 plus 4x over x minus 1. So if this, you'll notice that our denominators do not have anything in common. So that means that to get common denominators, we'll multiply each fraction by the other fraction's denominator. So this one will multiply by x plus 2 over x plus 2, and this one by x minus 1 over x minus 1. However, before we go much further, we should state our non-permissible values. So from our first denominator, where we had x plus 2, x cannot equal negative 2 because that makes our denominator equal 0. And with the second one, where we have x minus 1, x cannot equal positive 1 because that makes it equal 0. Okay, so next we'll multiply these out. So we've got x times 3x, so that's 3x squared. Then negative 1 times 3x, so minus 3x, being divided by x minus 1 times x plus 2. Now, when we're doing this, we don't bother foiling out our denominators. We'll leave them as factors. This one here, we have 4x times x, so that's plus 4x squared. And then 4x times 2 would be 8x. And that's over x minus 1 times x plus 2. Now we have the same denominator. We can combine like terms in our numerators. So we've got 3x squared plus 4x squared, so that's 7x squared. And then negative 3x plus 8x would be plus 5x divided by x minus 1 times x plus 2. And this would be as simplified as this one gets. Next example, we have 7x over 3x minus 6 plus 5x over 4x plus 8. So once again, I'll start by factoring our denominators. So we've got 7x over 3 times x minus 2 plus 5x over 4 times x plus 2. So you'll notice we actually have nothing in common between these two. So that means I'm going to have to multiply the numerator and denominator of this one by 3 times x minus 2. And the numerator and denominator of this one by 4 times x plus 2. Before going further, though, we'll state our non-permissible. So we have x cannot equal from our x minus 2, that become positive 2. And our x plus 2, we'd have a minus 2. Okay, so multiplying these out, essentially we have 3 terms we're multiplying together. So I would only usually multiply 2 at a time. So I'll go 4 times 7x. So I'll have x plus 2 times 4 times 7x is 28x. And that is over 4 times 3 is 12 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Then we have plus, do a similar thing here. So 5x times 3 is 15x. And that still needs to be multiplied by x minus 2, which I'll do in the next step. Now, if the denominator is 4 times 3 is 12 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. So next we need to multiply out our numerators. So we have x times 28x, that's 28x squared. And then 2 times 28x, that's plus 56x over 12 times x plus 2 times x minus 2 plus 15x times x is 15x squared. 15x times negative 2 is minus 30x divided by 12 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Now we'll combine like terms. So we have 28x squared plus 15x squared, which is 43x squared. And then 56x minus 30x would be 26x. And that is over our denominator of 12 times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay, next, when there are trinomials or quadratics in the denominator, we'll have to use product sum factoring or difference of squares, or one of the methods we went over in chapter 3 for factoring before we can find a common denominator. Okay, so first example, simplify and state any non-permissible values. We have 1 over x squared minus 4 minus 3 over x minus 2. So we have 1 divided by a quadratic function, and we have a 3 divided by a linear function. Now our quadratic function x squared minus 4 is a difference of squares. So when we factor that, we're going to end up with x plus 2 times x minus 2. And then we have minus 3 over x minus 2. So our non-permissibles in this case would be x cannot equal plus or minus 2. Now this fraction has an x minus 2 that this one has, and this one is missing the x plus 2. So we'll multiply the numerator and denominator by the x plus 2. So that gives us 1 over x plus 2 times x minus 2 minus 3 times x plus 2 is 3x plus 6 divided by x plus 2 times x minus 2. We'll now combine like terms. So we only have one x term, so we've got minus 3x, and then we have 1 minus 6, so minus 5 over our denominator of x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay, next example, we have 4 over x squared minus x minus 12 minus 1 over x squared plus 5x plus 6. So we're going to have to factor both of these quadratic functions before simplifying. So we'll use product sum factoring for this. So with this first one, we are looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 12, add to negative 1. So that would be negative 4 and positive 3. With this next one, we are looking for two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to 5. So that'd be positive 3 and positive 2. So look at our non-permissibles. X can now equal 4, negative 3, and negative 2. Now, if its first fraction in its denominator is missing x plus 2, so we'll multiply the numerator and denominator by x plus 2. And the second one, we're missing the x minus 4. So we'll multiply the numerator and denominator by x minus 4. So x plus 2 times 4 would be 4x plus 8. That's being divided by x plus 2 times x minus 4 times x plus 3. For the next one, we have 1 times x minus 4. So that'd be x minus 4 over x plus 2 times x minus 4 times x plus 3. So now we'll combine like terms. So we've got 4x minus x, which will give us 3x. And then we have 8 minus negative 4. So that's the same as adding 4. So that would be plus 12. And that's being divided by x plus 2 times x minus 4 times x plus 3. Okay, so practice for this unit is on page 564.